Ladies and gentlemen, you need 2 sheets of blank paper, 3 prompts, and 3 essays that are due today. In case you didn't know, Henry, my son is in the, this is for the people recording that are listening to the recording. My son Henry is here, so if you hear chaos, it's him. All right, here we go. With your 3 prompts, ladies and gentlemen, with your 3 prompts, take them out. Pull out concept and SCOTUS. Tonight for... Can you not pull my chair, please? Tonight for homework, you have SCOTUS number 5 and you have concept number 3. Those are your 2 essays tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So, on your stimuluses, you need, on your prompts, you need to have concept number 3 and SCOTUS number 5. Okay. On your first blank sheet of paper, I would like you to write out your prompt. It's nice to have a little enthusiasm in the room. Here we go. On a blank sheet of paper, you are copying down this rubric. Why don't we make sure our name's at the top? Are you going to drive him all the way to the back of the wall? He's a little monster truck. He's driving it up and down all the legs of the things. This one's pretty cool because the hinges on the wheels kind of like, so you can really like make it move. If you ask, Miss Maribel should probably kick it over to you. Say thank you. Okay, every single day during writing week, you are going to come in. We're going to do a do now. Very easy. It's always about your opinion. Easy 20 points for the week. Then we are going to do what I want to do first, which is always grading an essay. Once we are grading the essay, I will then start planning out one of your essays. Sound good? So the faster we do what I want to do, the faster we get to what you want to do. So the faster you move, the better your quality of life is. Is everyone clear on that? Last period, we planned and wrote out an entire essay, so the last period only has 1 essay to do, which is pretty sweet. Can we agree? I really hope I'm going to be here tomorrow without a toddler, because he will be going to school, because he is feeling better. Leave that, Henry. We're not playing with that. It's underneath the desk for a reason. Thank you. Oh, we're not doing that. So, we're going to the doctor's at 1:15 today, so hopefully he will be fever-free. Hi.
Hey, just dropping this off.
Perfect.
Dylan?
He's not here right now.
Okay. I'll take it back. Thanks.
Thank you. I mean, he's got his little badge on, so, like, he's legit, but I also don't need administration knowing either. All right, here we go. You should have colored in your rubric the different colors I have. You think I'm sitting here with a toddler coloring because I want to? Come on now. Green is for restating the prompt. Yellow is for answer. Evidence is red. Let's go. Why don't you grab a puzzle out? We can do the dinosaur puzzle. Okay. Once you have it colored, you are going to put your rubric on top of your essay for SCOTUS number 1. Put your rubric on top of your essay for SCOTUS number 1 and hand it to someone near you. It doesn't matter who it is. You're going to trade with everyone at some point. Bless you. Why don't you go get my hand sanitizer and use my hand sanitizer, please. Okay. Trade. Let's go. The faster you go, the faster we get to what you want to do. Where's the rubric you just did, Chris? There you go. He doesn't care about your prompt. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, as soon as you get the new rubric in front of you, you're going to write your name at the bottom. Once you get the new rubric, put your name at the bottom. Okay? All right, here we go. Oh, you can dump it out now. Okay, so for question A, identify the clause of the 14th Amendment that is used for the basis of the decision in both Brown versus Board of Education, 1954, and the Hernandez versus Texas. Now, please listen. I didn't really teach you how to write a SCOTUS, and I sent you home without me teaching you how to do it, but I gave you at least the basic frameworks. There's a couple nuances that about SCOTUS that I do want to point out for you. The first question is always a very simplistic, easy, obvious, right? Because what type of questions are these? They're progressive, so it always starts easy, gets more complicated. The first question is going to always be a very easy, straightforward answer. This one's the 14th Amendment, Equal Protection Clause. Simple, easy. Now, question B. It is looking at you to evaluate both of them at the same time, always, going forward. B is always asking you to look at both cases at the same time. C is always looking at you to exclusively look at this new case you've never seen. Every time you get a SCOTUS question, they are going to give you... Oh, I like it. Can you find out where it goes? Put it there. They're always going to give you a case that you have never seen before. And then they're going to compare it to one of our 15 Supreme Court cases. So, C is always exclusively about that case that you have never seen before because it's the higher level question, yes? Taking that, compare it, breaking it down, and then pulling it to something you know. Hopefully, now that we've started writing, you're starting to see why we're doing everything that we are doing in class. Can we agree? Okay? It may seem ridiculous that we do our questions on just primaries and all that stuff, but the reason is because SCOTUS cannot be overestimated. Okay? You have to know what you're doing on your Supreme Court cases. Here we go. The answer to A. So you're going to read their answer now. Go through. You're going to just take a crayon. You're not doing like heavy coloring. You're just acknowledging that they've restated the prompt and given the answer. So with your green color pencil, crayon, marker, whatever, you can underline it or color it through. Nothing serious here. Restating the prompt, and the answer is the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Okay, so go through, read, and with the yellow, highlight the answer. If they don't have the answer, it's a 0. So you should be marking it off on the rubric as well. So you're reading and then marking it on the rubric. So if they restate the prompt, they get a point. If they don't have the Equal Protection Clause, they get a 0. Okay? All right. Any questions on that? What do you got? Yeah. Okay? So, here we go. B. Identify and what? Explain how the facts of both Brown versus Board of Education and Hernandez versus Texas led to similar decision in both cases. Okay? So, read through. It's easy to tell if they restated the prompt, so go ahead and do that. And what are some answers that we are coming up with? Do you want to say my wrong? Your fever's come back, dude. Oh, it's time for meds. Okay. What are some answers? What are some answers we are seeing? Come on now, help a girl out. I'm mothering and teaching at the same time. This shit ain't easy. What do you got, man?
Both cases deal with segregation against a minority group, which was
There you go. Anything about segregation against a minority group will score. That is for the answer. They have to provide a little bit more evidence. Okay, so that is your answer. Is they're both talking about segregation. Okay, evidence. Evidence means they had to go above and beyond and give us a different piece or a little bit of layered complexity. Okay, you could have talked about a bunch of things. You could have talked about how Brown versus Board. You could have talked about how Brown versus Board is going to affect every aspect of society within the country. Something to that, something specifically towards that case. Who has a piece of evidence they think they have? If you are underlining something, that means you got something. So Tori, what is the answer your person came up with?
Judicial activism and racial issues.
There you go. Judicial activism is bomb answer. Whose is it? Maribel. That's a great answer, Maribel. Judicial activism is a great answer. Now, Henry. Okay? When we are talking about these types of cases, it's really nice if you can tie it down to a specific term and kind of go, judicial activism is a great answer. This is chaos. Due process would count. It's not a great one. I'm never going to ask for a bad answer who did it. I will only ask for good answers because I don't need to know all the things. But if you gave me a really great answer or someone read a really great answer of yours, then I'm going to want to know because I want to acknowledge the positive. What do you got? Ooh, that's a great answer. Whose is it? Yes, Megan. If it's a unanimous, then it does score. It's a great answer. Eve. Yeah, that would be a specific word. Perfect. Any other questions on B? Mia? Separate but equal is a great answer as well. Okay, anything that's a little bit specific to the knowledge of Brown versus Board, any of that stuff scores, right? You know how we sit there and we go through, talk about the big pieces of the case, and then we do the 3 basic boil down points? It is that accumulation of knowledge about the case, that's what scores you points. That is why this is such a big deal. All right, any questions on B? Here we go to C. Okay, explain how an interest group could use the decision in Hernandez versus Texas to gain an advantage, to advance its agenda. Okay, so you are restating the prompt. Everyone should be coloring in green. We're not playing with my phone. We are not playing with the phone. No, that's not an option. Phone is not an option. Here, you have books, you have all that stuff. All right, who here has a good answer for how Hernandez versus Texas advances its agenda? No one has a good one? What do you got? Precedent is a bomb answer all day. Okay, precedent is a bomb answer. Okay, so with precedent, to get the evidence point, you need to talk about how precedent is used in other court cases. Obviously, tying it back to Brown versus Board makes the most sense. That anyone who believes that they are being treated unfairly in public education uses Brown versus Board as the precedent. You could have tied it right back to that. So they had to give you a specific example of it. Estella? Lobby members and to explain the civil rights? Yeah. To expand civil rights? Very interesting. Yeah, all day. For sure. Whose is it? Yeah. Yes. Definitely you had to explain a little bit more. You could have gone easier. But hell yeah, that's a great answer. What do you got, Colin? To get into the Supreme Court? Yeah. I mean, I guess. It's kind of a weird one, yeah? It's kind of weird. It's a little weak. Give them a 1. It's a little weird. Anyone else? I'm assuming most of you are losing points on the evidence. Is that thumbs up, thumbs down? Your people are losing points on evidence. Here. Okay. All right. So we've now just scored. What do you got, Tatum?
So it's fine if we tie back to a different case that's not Brown versus
Yeah, it's totally fine. As long as they tied it back to something. And it makes sense. Coherent sense. Okay, what you are going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, is you are going to write 2 pieces of positive feedback at the bottom of the rubric. What are 2 things they did really well? Hey, your evidence for C was really great. Hey, your restating of the prompt throughout was really great. So you're going to find 2 things to say something positive about and then 1 piece of constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is something that they can fix right now. Okay, so I'm passing out staplers. As soon as you get a stapler, you are stapling the rubric on top of your essay. As soon as you get a stapler, staple it. Hello, I don't hear anyone stapling. If you have a stapler on your desk, staple the rubric on top of the essay. You also need to come up with a combined score out of 13. Come up with a total score. If you have a stapler, Chris, you need to be stapling then passing. Rubric on top of essay. If you have a stapler, you need to staple first, then pass. Pass the stapler, Chris. Everyone behind you needs it. As soon as you staple, pass it. Colin, they could use it in this row, please. Or there. Ashley, you need one? Here behind you. Andrew has one. Okay, you are stapling your essays, please. Okay, so you are finishing your pieces of 2 pieces of positive feedback, 1 piece of constructive criticism. You've got about 10 seconds. You should have a grand total of your score. Do that now if you don't have it. Okay, what you're going to do when I say go, you're going to go talk to the person you scored and tell them what they got. Go. What? 3, 2. What? All right, here we go. What you're going to do, please follow these instructions. You're going to take the graded essay that you have just scored, and you're going to pass them to Megan. Megan is only collecting the graded one, the one with all the coloring. Pass it to Megan. Don't hand her 1 paper at a time. Collect a bunch and then pass it over. Okay. As you are passing, if you did not agree, no. Leave the laptop alone. If you did not agree with the score that you got, all you have to do is grab the essay out of the box, out and put it in my drop-off box. This is how we score a majority of the essays. If you ever feel that you were graded unfairly, then all you have to do is take out your essay and put it in my drop-off box. If you put it in my drop-off box and I've seen that it's been scored and that you have put it in there, it tells me you didn't like the score for some reason, and I will rescore. If it's 1 point, can you not do that? If it's 5 points, then absolutely do that. Can we agree? All right, perfect. What are you doing? Okay. Maribel is going to collect your other 2 essays. Pass them. The other 2 essays that are due today. Every essay that you write in my class, every single one, even the ones I write in class for you, are turned in for points. Is everyone clear? They're completion points. So there's always 1 a day that we are going to score for actual points. Then the other ones are going to be scored for completion. Does that sound good? Everything you do earns points. Okay. Take out your other blank sheet. Which one do you want to work on? Concept or SCOTUS? Yeah, I think SCOTUS is one of the harder ones. Hey, can we not break the computer, please? No, Mommy has to sit there. Mommy has to sit here. Okay, I can't write and do this at the same time.
I did it.
You did do it. I don't know what you did, but you're very proud. Okay, here we go. SCOTUS number 5. So, right now we're going to start planning your other essays to get you through. How many essays do you have tonight for homework? 2. I'm hopefully going to plan out and maybe write out the whole of 1, and then you only have 1 for homework tonight. Does that sound good? Okay, with Hank here, nothing is guaranteed though. Awesome. Okay, here we go. Why don't you sit down? Okay, following the 1990 census. You're right, this is better. Texas gained seats in the United States House of Representatives, and the redistricting plan included 3 new districts, 2 of which had a majority of Latino voters, and another had a majority of African American voters. In addition, they reconfigured a 4th district to make it predominantly African American. The Texas plan was approved by the Department of Justice under the requirement of the Voting Rights Act 1965. However, the plan was challenged in federal courts as racial gerrymandering. In Bush versus Vera, 1996, the Supreme Court concluded that the state had violated the United States Constitution by drawing of the districts. In the majority opinion, Justice Sandra Day O'Connor said that the redistricting was so extremely irregular on its face that it rationally can be viewed only as an effort to segregate the races for purposes of voting without regard for the traditional redistricting principles. A. Identify a constitutional clause that is common in both Bush versus Vera, 1996, and Shaw versus Reno, 1993. First thing I would do is take out your Shaw versus Reno. We're not sitting on May 6th doing this, so we might as well make our lives easier. Can we agree? So take them out. That'll make your whole life simpler.
What's that?
It's my air conditioner. One of those is a lockdown alarm, and the other one is a fire alarm.
That one?
The one that's flashing red, orange, that's the fire alarm.
And that's the water.
That's for lockdown.
Yeah.
Yep, and then that's in air conditioning.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the major clause behind Shaw versus Reno? If you have it out, everything gets a lot easier. Might as well, Henry, you gotta let me do my thing, okay? Especially because, we're recording this for posterity's sake. Here we go. What is the major? Chris?
The Equal Protection Clause.
Equal Protection Clause. So, on the top of your blank sheet of paper, we're going to write. Things are going great up here. SCOTUS. Number 5. A. Then go sit somewhere else. I have to write. Equal Protection Clause. Now, because we're fancy and we know, what amendment is it tied to? 14. It is always a good thing, just to add, if you know the Equal Protection Clause, it's part of the 14th Amendment, just write it down. It always makes you look a little smarter, and they're going to give you a little bit more kindness later. All right, so we already got A down. Let's go to B. Explain how the facts in both cases led to similar holdings. What are the facts in both cases? Megan? Both drew districts with race in mind. Okay, now, you don't score any points because you haven't talked about the specific component of similarity, but you can't not talk about that either. So what about them? Both of them talk about what specifically? Look at the things we specifically highlighted in the piece that we talked about, make it very unique in Shaw versus Reno. Eve? Well, we can't use gerrymandering. Why can't we use gerrymandering and get points for it? It's in the prompt, so we don't get any points for gerrymandering. Eve? That's going to be better for C than it is for B, but I like where you're trying. Guys, in Shaw versus Reno, what did the districts look like? Mia? Okay, they're super irregularly shaped, so irregular shape, and what do they say in Shaw versus Reno? They're the size of what? A highway. They're the size of a highway. Ladies and gentlemen, size of a highway is what's going to score your evidence point. Do you see how that's incredibly specific? Which means you wouldn't know that term unless you really understood the piece. Yes? That's what evidence is. Evidence is always the sophistication of understanding the arguments of the Supreme Court case. That's what it's about. It's about using specific key terms from that document to prove that you are correct and showing that you know your content. Estella.
So you can just like go into detail about like
Yep, that's it. That's all they're asking for. They're asking how much did you actually learn about this other case in comparison to this case. That's what they're asking for. They just want you to see how much that you've actually learned about those 15 cases. That's all they care about. All right, here we go. C. Explain how the decision in Bush versus Vera could affect the process of redistricting for congressional representation in other states. So what is the implication? What's the big difference between these two cases? Come on, guys. The faster you move, the faster I move, the more I plan, the less you have to do on your own. Colin.
That's since the Constitution is colorblind, you can't.
Okay, that's a really great piece of fact, but what's the big difference between them?
One was benefiting a race and the other one was like discriminating.
Okay, what are the two races?
Latinos and African.
Latino and Black Americans are the two major focuses of these two pieces. Black Americans. Okay, Latino and Black Americans versus just Black Americans. Okay, why are they discriminating against Latinos now in Texas? Why weren't they doing this before? Why? I've already talked to Eve. Come on, help me. I've already talked to Colin. What do you got? Yes, you need to know that my Latinos are the fastest growing, bless you, minority group in U.S. Okay, so we now know that they are the fastest growing minority group. What type of votes do Latinos typically cast? They're typically Democrats up until Trump. They went Republican for Trump. Okay, fear of a largely Democrat vote. Okay, why? Because what state is this in, ladies and gentlemen? It's in Texas. And what color is Texas? Texas is white? Texas is red. They're very proudly Republican. Okay? So, the reason why Texas is discriminating against Latinos is because Latinos is the fastest growing population inside Texas. So, they are literally, they have a fear of them voting Democrat, which is why they're gerrymandering. Let's flip it over and let's write it down. Okay, so at the top, what do we write? SCOTUS number 5. You do know you could sit in your own chair, right?
Oh, but my.
You're thirsty? Your water's on my desk. Go grab it. Great idea. Okay, here we go. A. The constitutional clause in both Bush versus Vera and Shaw versus Reno is the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment. Done. B. The facts in both cases led to minority redistricting that were oddly reshaped to give specific minorities the majority. The lines were drastically adjusted so that some were only the size of the interstate. In Shaw versus Reno. C. Okay, so we're covering our bases. We're giving our little pieces of evidence. Okay, here we go. Bush versus Vera could affect the process of redistricting in congressional population because other states could use what?
My tummy
Your tummy hurts?
Yeah.
Do you need to use the bathroom?
hurts.
Yeah.
Really?
Can I finish this first?
Yeah.
Cool. Things are going great. Could use similar strategies against Latinos and not just black minorities. Period. These tactics are an attempt to stop what? Your tummy hurts?
Yeah.
From voting?
Me? From voting? Yeah.
Let me finish this real quick, okay? Latinos from voting Democrat. Please don't lick me. And things you say, right? In upcoming elections. Due to their status as the fastest growing minority. Okay. One essay down. How much time do I have? 5 minutes? Okay. Do you need to use the bathroom? Yes? Yes? Okay. I am running to the bathroom because that's what I need to be doing right now. You have the last 5 minutes of class to finish what you need. I would start working on your other essay. Yes? Can we agree? Start working on that. I'm sorry.